Hey guys, Coach Jeff here. We're going to be going over rowing today. So when you're getting strapped into the rower, you're going to see the foot pads. They have a bunch of numbers and holes on it. What you want to do is try to set the ball of your foot towards the base of that upward slope, maybe a little bit onto it. So I'm about a 10.5 to 11 size shoe for men, and I'm usually either a 2 or a 3. I like 2 a little better, but I used to use a 3 a lot, okay? Once I have my foot in here, I'm gonna pull these straps nice and tight so they hold my feet in there and I don't have any kind of slack, okay? Now getting out of the rower, this is some place I see a lot of people struggle. Sounds simple, but I'm gonna just show you so that you don't get caught doing this. Basically, you're gonna push up on your toe and you're gonna push down on that strap so it loosens up just like that. And then you're gonna push your whole foot up in that foot pad and then lift your heel and pull it out, okay? A lot of times what tends to happen is people are in a workout, they get rushed, they loosen it up, and then they get their heel caught, just like that, okay? Gets caught on the back of their shoe there. We don't want that to happen to you, so, you know, if it does, no worries. It's happened to me, it's happened to other people. But just make sure you're lifting your foot up and out. That way, you know, you can get out quickly. Once we have that, we're gonna set our hands on the outside of that handle. A lot of times what I see is everyone wants to come to the inside, and what that tends to do is when you pull, you're just all crunched up here and you can't get a good pull in, okay? So we want them on the outside of the handle, and then if possible, we wanna try to have our knees in between our arms, okay? I've seen some people do it like this. You're gonna get a lot more drive and a lot better positioning from right here rather than out here, okay? So in this forward position, my back should try to be flat. I want my feet flat on that foot pad if I can do that. And then I want to basically drive through my legs first, pull my torso back, and then pull right to my rib cage. Now on the way back, I'm gonna do the exact opposite. So I'm gonna come back with my arms, then my shoulders, then my knees. And I'm not gonna try to reach in here. I'm gonna just come to this position so that my torso is slightly forward, my feet are flat again, and I'm in a good starting position. Then I'm gonna drive, pull, back, drive, pull, and back. Okay, so that's what it should look like every single time. Now, when it comes to doing the row, you wanna be able to feel kind of these muscles working while you're pulling. A lot of times what tends to happen is everyone wants to rush on the way back, and they bring their knees up and then their hands, and then they end up in this position. My heel is raised, my torso isn't forward, and then when I drive, I'm pushing through my toe and I'm not really using my glutes and my hamstrings, which is what we want to be using. So make sure on your way back you're slowing it down a little bit in the beginning so that you're doing it right. Arms, shoulders, knees, okay? And then back the same way. Even when I go fast, I'm keeping a good position every time. Okay, that slow retraction to make sure I'm in the right position. All right, so that's the row, guys. Now let's talk a little bit about how the row works. All right, guys, so now that we know how to row properly, we're gonna talk a little bit about the functionality of the rower and how it works, okay, with the screen and then the resistance over here. So first off, when you get the rower turned on, you're gonna see a number of different options here. Most of the time, what we're gonna be using is just row. If there's a different type of, you know, workout that we're doing where it's like a 500 meters for time or something like that, the coach will probably tell you to set it up to 500 meters for time. And they'll explain to you how to turn that on. I'm not going to explain it in this video, but once you have the screen on, there's, you know, this is the main screen I like to use. You're going to see a number of different screens that might be on here, okay? This one, if you press the bottom button, that brings you to that screen. That's what I prefer. I'm concentrating on a couple of different numbers here, okay? This first number, /500, this one, that is the main thing I want to pay attention to. So if we're doing a row for meters, basically I want to keep that number as low as possible. So meaning if it says 2 minutes and I can get it down to 150, then that's probably going to be 150 is a better time. Okay, so it's kind of like, you know, if a marathon runner is running a 7-minute mile and they could be running a 6-minute mile, the 6-minute mile is obviously faster. Same thing here, same type of, you know, measurement there. Down here he says strokes per minute, S/M. That means that's how many times you're pulling every single minute. Now, I pay attention to that when we're doing longer workouts and whenever we have workouts that we're going to be using our legs for squatting or something else in the workout. Because a lot of times what tends to happen is people get on here and they pull, and then this number jacks up to into the 30s, okay? And that number is fine if we're doing a sprint workout, but if you're doing a long workout, it's usually not a sustainable number. So I will let that number drop literally to 16 to 19, which is really slow for most people. That's my personal preference. And I focus on long, hard pulls, and that way I don't need to pull that many times, okay? When it comes to, you know, workouts where the distance isn't super far and I want to be at a little bit faster pace, I might bump my up. A good goal to keep for most people is try to keep that number anywhere between 24 to 28 strokes per minute. That's going to be about where most people want to be at. I'm just a little different where I've been rowing for a while and I know how to kind of engage some of those muscles. So I want to just use a little stronger a pull and not cycle as many times. That's personal preference. So that is the screen. That's how it works. Down here, you're going to see the resistance settings. So there's 1 all the way up to 10. What that means is if it's on 1, it's letting less air in, okay? If it's on 10, it's letting more air in. So when it lets less air in, there's less resistance, and each pull it feels easier on the rower, okay? Because it works based off of air resistance. When it's on 10, every pull is harder, but you go further, okay? So what you want to do is I generally leave them on 5 for everyone. And you know, you don't have to fiddle with this if you don't want to. If you're a higher level athlete and you know you want to start paying attention to your rowing, you should start to play with that number and see where you're the most efficient and where you can get the best times, okay? Again, that's the rower, that's the functionality of it. I hope that helps, guys. Thanks.